Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this individual executive member decision. My name's Callum Wernham. I'm a Democratic and Electoral Services Specialist. With me today making the decision is Councillor Stephen Conway, who's our Executive Member for Housing. And from the officer side of things, we have Francesca Rowson, who is a Policy Officer within the Housing and Projects team. And with that, I'll hand over to Francesca just to talk us through the report and the recommendation being presented today.
So this consultation that we're responding to, and we're recommending that we respond in the way outlined in the appendix, relates to the government proposals in terms of a decent home standard in the private rented sector to match the decent home standard in the social rented sector, which has been in place since 2001. So our proposed consultation response has two main focuses: recommending an effective way to deliver the standard to the government, including ensuring that it provides additional useful information and overall better standards for tenants, and also limiting any additional burden on reputable landlords as far as possible, because of the fact that the growth of the private rented sector is a strategic objective for the council currently. In terms of our responses to the individual sections, some of the key features are as follows. In terms of question 27, we look at the importance of clarity on when councils can give exemptions to the standard. And this is in order that councils can confidently make exemptions where appropriate in order not to shrink the private rented sector where that's not necessary, whilst also ensuring that this isn't used as a loophole by landlords when it shouldn't be. So if there were clear recommendations of when that should be done, that would be helpful. In terms of question 32, importance of avoiding duplicative burdens for landlords, again, in order not to shrink the private rented sector. Landlords already have duties in terms of EPC ratings, electrical safety regulations and other liabilities. So any extra information that's required on a new proposed property portal should be non-duplicative and actually provide additional significant benefits in order to make it worthwhile and improve standards for tenants. We recommend in question 37 the importance of clarity as to when council should apply the new standard compared to the existing powers within the Housing Act, and in terms of the existing housing, health and safety rating system, and also the importance that resource implications are considered by government and additional appropriate funding provided in order to recognise the extra work that councils will be doing as a result of the new proposals. Question 54, in terms of widening the scope of application of the decent home standard, we recommend that this is widened so that types of non-traditional accommodation are included within the scope and can be monitored too, as well as traditional accommodation. But we also ask for clarification on some of the categories mentioned in order, for example, to clarify whether a particular dwelling would be classed as a dwelling or as a workplace, and also considerations taken of limitations in non-traditional construction. And finally, in question 56, we stress again the importance of successfully mitigating the risks associated with this proposal during the implementation and the ways that the government decides to implement the standard, ensuring that the costs don't go to tenants and local authorities as a result, and that the changes are helpful for private rented sector tenants. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Francesca. Thank you for all the work you put in drawing up the council's response. And that response, as Francesca said, endorses and supports the enforcement of the new decent home standards, which is now being extended from social rental to private rental sector. This should improve conditions for private landlord tenants, which must be a very good thing. But our response is also seeks to ensure that the process does not place undue burdens on reputable private landlords and thereby discourage them from continuing to rent out their properties. We strongly support the need to improve standards, but we wish also to increase, not decrease, the capacity of the private sector to help address the borough's shortage of affordable accommodation. We accordingly support cost caps and extended implementation timelines. I think also it's worth saying that we seek to draw the government's attention in the response to the resource implications of the new duties the council is expected to take on. We hope these resource implications will be recognised by some additional government support. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. So following on from that, I will just go on to read the recommendation. For any of you following, that's on agenda page 5, and that's the recommendation is that the Executive Member for Housing authorises Wokingham Borough Council to respond to the government's decent home standard in the private rented sector consultation as set out in Appendix 1 to the report. You happy with that, Stephen?
I am indeed. Thank you.
Fantastic. In which case, we'll just quickly go around and sign the decision sheet. So with that, subject to the standard 5-day call-in period, this decision and therefore the consultation response can be submitted officially. And with that, I will bring the meeting to a close. Thank you very much.